I was engaged, and it's not true at all.
It's really stupid. It's kind of just a dumb joke.
For years, Abby and Brittany have lived in the public eye as two women sharing one body, navigating life with strength, intelligence, and independence. But when news broke that Abby Hensel had gotten married, the internet didn't just react, it exploded. And one question started circulating everywhere. Was this love or something darker? So where did that narrative come from? Is there truth behind the rumors? Or is this another case of the internet turning curiosity into controversy? Join us as we uncover the story behind the headlines and separate reality from speculation. The physical reality. Understanding Abby and Brittany's physical reality starts with one important fact. They were born on March 7, 1990 in Minnesota as conjoined twins. From the moment they entered the world, doctors knew their case was rare. They are known medically as dicephalic parapagous twins. This means they have two heads but share one torso. They are not one person with two personalities. They are two separate individuals who happen to share one body. Each sister has her own brain, heart, stomach, spine, and spinal cord. Yes, two hearts. This surprises many people. Their upper bodies contain many separate organs, which allows them to think, feel, and respond independently. However, below the waist, they share several organs. They have one set of reproductive organs and one lower digestive system. Their anatomy is complex, but it is stable. Doctors determined early on that separating them would be extremely dangerous and likely fatal for one or both of them. Because of this, they have lived their lives together physically from birth. One of the most fascinating parts of their physical reality is how control of the body works. Abby controls the right side of their shared body. Brittany controls the left. That means Abby moves the right arm and right leg, while Brittany moves the left arm and left leg. Walking is not automatic for them. It requires coordination every single time they take a step. From childhood, they had to learn how to sit up, crawl, stand, and walk as a team. Every movement had to be practiced. They could not rely on instinct alone. Communication and timing were essential from the very beginning. At birth, they had 3 arms. The third arm was located between their necks and was underdeveloped. Shortly after they were born, surgeons removed this arm. The surgery was successful, but it left behind a single shoulder blade in the middle of their back. This is still part of their physical structure today. Removing the extra limb allowed for more balanced movement as they grew. As they developed, doctors noticed other physical differences between them. One important difference is in their height and leg length. Brittany's left leg is about 2 inches shorter than Abby's right leg. Because of this, Brittany often walks on her toes to match Abby's stride. Over time, this caused Brittany's left calf muscle to become more developed and slightly larger. This adjustment helps them maintain balance while walking. It is something Brittany does naturally now, but it required practice when they were younger. They also each have their own spine. However, their spines did not grow at the same rate. Brittany's spine stopped growing earlier than Abby's. To prevent imbalance and future complications, doctors made the difficult decision to stop Abby's spinal growth through a medical procedure. This ensured their torsos would remain aligned and stable. Later, at age 12, both sisters underwent surgery to correct scoliosis, which is a sideways curvature of the spine. Without this procedure, their ability to breathe properly and maintain posture could have been affected. The surgery helped protect their long-term health. Another important part of their physical experience involves sensation. Each sister feels touch, temperature, and pain only on her own side of the body. Abby feels sensations on the right side, and Brittany feels them on the left. There is only a small area of overlap near the middle of their torso. This means one sister can feel cold while the other feels warm. One can have a stomachache while the other feels completely fine. Their nervous systems operate separately, even though their bodies are connected. This can make illness or discomfort complicated because their experiences are not always shared. Despite these physical challenges, their bodies function in a coordinated way. They eat, write, swim, and even drive a car together. These daily actions are possible because they have spent their entire lives learning how to move in sync. Their physical reality is rare, but it is also something they understand deeply because they live it every day. And this unique physical connection is only the beginning of what makes their lives so complex and compelling. Love and autonomy. Love and independence are complicated topics for anyone, but for Abby and Brittany, they come with extra layers that most people never have to think about. That's why one question keeps coming up again and again whenever people talk about them. If one sister wants a relationship, how does that work when they share one body? Back in 2006, Abby and Brittany spoke in a Discovery documentary interview about what they hoped for in the future. They said they wanted many of the same things other teenagers dream about, including dating, getting married, and having children someday. They talked about it in a straightforward way, like it was a normal hope, because for them, it was. They were not making a statement or trying to shock anyone. They were simply sharing their goals as two young women thinking about adulthood. Their mother, Abby Hensel, also spoke about these hopes. In the same general period of media coverage, she expressed that she believed motherhood might be possible for them. That idea made headlines for a simple reason. People often jump to the most private questions first. Instead of focusing on their education, friendships, or careers, many strangers focus on what their romantic lives might look like. That public reaction has followed them for years. A big part of the public obsession comes from how people mix up shared body with shared life. Abby and Brittany share one body, but they do not share one mind. They have two separate thoughts, two separate feelings, and two separate personalities. They can agree on things, and they can also disagree. Like any siblings, they have different tastes, different moods, and different opinions. The difference is that they can't walk away from each other when they disagree. So they have had to learn communication skills at a level most people never practice. Another important point that many people miss is their legal identity. Abby and Brittany have two birth certificates because they are recognized as two people. They also each have their own driver's license. That matters because it shows how the world officially understands them. Two individuals sharing one physical form. Legally, they are not treated as one person. But legal identity doesn't automatically answer the emotional and relationship questions people keep asking. This is where the philosophical dilemma comes in. If Abby marries, is Brittany married too? In most people's minds, marriage includes sharing a home, sharing daily life, and sharing physical space. Abby and Brittany already share daily life and physical space no matter what. So outsiders sometimes assume that if Abby has a husband, Brittany must be included in the marriage. But marriage is not just about physical closeness. It is a legal and emotional bond between specific people. If Abby chooses to marry, that choice belongs to Abby. Brittany does not stop being her own person just because she is present. Still, Brittany's presence is not a small detail. She is there for every moment, including moments that would normally be private for a couple. That's why consent becomes one of the most important parts of this discussion. Consent is not only about intimate situations, it is also about comfort, boundaries, and agreement in daily life. In a shared body relationship, consent has to be constant, clear, and respected because one sister should not be forced into experiences she doesn't want. That also means a relationship would require strong trust and careful communication among everyone involved. The person dating or marrying one twin would have to respect both twins as full human beings, with equal dignity, equal voice, and equal right to say yes or no to situations that affect them. And next, the biggest question is how the internet turned these private human issues into non-stop rumors and debate. Who is Josh Bowling? When people began asking questions about Abby's marriage, one name quickly became part of the public conversation: Josh Bowling. While much of the online attention focused on the uniqueness of the relationship, it's important to understand who he is as a person and what his background looks like based on confirmed information. Josh Bowling was born in Tennessee. He later joined the United States Army, where he served as a combat medic. He was part of the 1st Cavalry Division and completed deployments in both Iraq and Afghanistan. As a combat medic, his role was serious and demanding. He was responsible for treating wounded soldiers in active war zones. This job required medical knowledge, quick thinking, and emotional strength. Combat medics often deal directly with injuries, trauma, and life-threatening situations on the battlefield. It is a position that carries both physical danger and psychological weight. After completing his military service, Josh transitioned into civilian life. Instead of leaving healthcare behind, he continued working in the medical field. Reports indicate that he became involved in healthcare roles that supported veterans. He also worked in hospice care. Hospice work focuses on providing comfort and support to people who are nearing the end of life. This type of job requires patience, compassion, and the ability to handle emotional situations calmly. Supporting veterans, especially those dealing with serious illness or aging, connected his military experience with his healthcare background. Before marrying Abby, Josh had been married once before. He was previously married to a woman named Annika Bowling. The two married in 2010. During their marriage, they welcomed a daughter named Isabella in 2016. Isabella became an important part of Josh's life. However, the marriage between Josh and Annika ended in 2019, after 9 years together. Their divorce marked a new chapter in his personal life. In October 2023, his name appeared in media headlines again due to a legal filing connected to his past relationship. According to reporting by People magazine, a paternity case was filed involving Josh and another man. The case centered around a child born in 2020 after Josh and Annika had divorced. Court documents requested DNA testing to determine the biological father of the child. The details of the genetic testing were not made public, and the results were kept confidential due to the child's age. The reporting made clear that this matter involved legal procedures but did not disclose private results. It's important to note that beyond these documented facts, much of what circulates online is speculation. Public records and verified reporting provide limited insight into personal matters. Military service, healthcare work, marriage, divorce, and legal filings form the confirmed outline of his background. The rest often becomes filled in by public opinion, curiosity, or rumor. When Abby married Josh in November 2021, attention quickly followed. Some of that attention focused on his military background. Some focused on his previous marriage. Others focused on how a relationship would work in such a unique situation. But at the center of the conversation is a man with a history of military service, healthcare work, fatherhood, and a previous long-term marriage. And as public curiosity grew, the focus slowly shifted from who he is to what people believed his intentions might be. The internet's obsession. When Abby married, the internet reacted fast. Instead of simply saying congratulations, many people jumped straight to suspicion. Some called the relationship strange. Others went further and said it was just wrong. That reaction says a lot about how society views disability, relationships, and women's bodies. So the real question becomes, is this obsession about concern, or is it about fear? There is a real term that often comes up in conversations like this: devoteeism. Devoteeism refers to an attraction to people with disabilities specifically because of their disability. It is a documented phenomenon, and researchers have written about it for years. Some people are attracted not just to a person, but to the visible difference itself. That reality can make families and disabled individuals cautious when entering relationships because it raises concerns about motivation. But it is important to be careful. Just because devoteeism exists does not mean every relationship involving a disabled person is based on it. Attraction is complex. Relationships are built on personality, shared values, humor, and emotional connection. The internet often ignores those layers and focuses only on the physical difference. This reaction is not new. Historically, people with unusual physical traits were displayed in what was once called spectacle culture. In the 1800s and early 1900s, traveling shows featured individuals with rare medical conditions. Audiences paid money to stare. These shows presented people as curiosities rather than as full human beings. The public learned to look at difference with fascination instead of understanding. Even though those shows are gone, the habit of staring did not disappear. It moved online. Social media allows millions of people to comment instantly. When Abby's marriage became public, many viewers treated it like entertainment. Instead of asking how she felt, they asked how the relationship worked physically. Instead of respecting privacy, they focused on intimacy. When something is rare, it attracts attention. When it involves the human body, especially female bodies, that attention often becomes personal and intrusive. The problem is not curiosity itself. The problem is when curiosity turns into objectification. Another reason the internet reacted so strongly is projection. Projection happens when people place their own fears or assumptions onto someone else's situation. Many people look at Abby and Brittany's shared body and think about what they would feel in that position. They imagine discomfort, loss of privacy, or lack of independence. Then they assume those feelings must be true for the twins as well. This leads to moral panic. Moral panic happens when the public quickly labels something as dangerous or wrong without full evidence. When people hear about a man marrying one of the twins, they immediately wonder if he is exploiting them. They worry about control or manipulation. While concern for someone's well-being can be healthy, online reactions often skip facts and move straight to accusation. Non-traditional relationships make people uncomfortable. Society is used to clear relationship patterns: two separate bodies, private space, and a shared home. Abby and Brittany do not fit into that structure. Their situation challenges the usual ideas about dating, marriage, and intimacy. When something challenges what feels normal, many people respond with suspicion. There is also fear of power imbalance. In any relationship, people worry about one partner having more control than the other. In this case, outsiders may assume the twins are vulnerable because they share a body. But vulnerability should not be confused with helplessness. Abby and Brittany are adults with education, careers, and strong communication skills. Assuming they cannot make informed choices removes their agency. Gender plays a major role in this conversation. Studies show that around 70% of conjoined twins who survive birth are female. That means most public cases involve women. And women's bodies have long been heavily discussed, judged, and controlled in public conversation. When a woman with a disability enters a romantic relationship, people often question her judgment. There is a long history of society doubting whether disabled women can make their own decisions about love. This leads to infantilization. Infantilization happens when adults are treated like children. Disabled women are often spoken about as if they need constant protection or supervision, even when they are fully capable adults. This double standard is clear online. Instead of assuming Abby made her own decision, some people frame the situation as if something must be wrong. They rarely apply the same suspicion to non-disabled couples. The focus becomes less about love and more about whether it should be allowed. At the heart of the obsession is discomfort. Discomfort with bodies that do not fit expectations. Discomfort with relationships that do not look typical. Discomfort with women who claim autonomy in ways that challenge traditional ideas. And once we understand that discomfort, the next question becomes even more important. How does all of this public pressure affect the people actually living the story? Media distorts. Media attention has been part of Abby and Brittany's lives for many years, but the way their story has been presented has changed over time. Early on, the focus was educational and respectful. Later, the tone shifted. What started as thoughtful coverage slowly turned into something louder, faster, and more dramatic. In 2006, they were featured in a documentary called Conjoined for Life. That program gave viewers a close look at their daily routines, medical history, and personal goals. The tone was calm and informative. It explained their condition clearly and allowed them to speak for themselves. The documentary showed them as teenagers with dreams, humor, and plans for the future. Viewers saw their personalities, their teamwork, and their family support. The goal was understanding, not shock value. Years later, in 2012, they appeared in their own reality series, Abby and Brittany. This show followed them after college as they started their teaching careers and adjusted to adult life. Again, the focus was on independence, friendship, and work. Cameras captured normal moments like apartment hunting, traveling, and preparing lesson plans. The series allowed them to present themselves on their own terms. It showed their strengths and their challenges without turning them into a spectacle. During these years, their media exposure felt controlled. They chose when to participate. Interviews were structured. Editing was careful. The public learned about their medical reality and their goals in a way that felt balanced. They were often described as inspiring because they were building careers and living full lives. However, when news of Abby's marriage became public in 2021, the tone shifted quickly. Instead of focusing on their professional lives or personal growth, many headlines centered on the shock factor of the marriage. The coverage moved from inspirational documentary to what some would call a marriage spectacle. Articles began asking personal questions about intimacy. Social media users debated how the relationship worked. The conversation changed direction almost overnight. Clickbait headlines played a big role in this shift. Clickbait is designed to grab attention quickly, often by using dramatic wording. Phrases like "you won't believe" or "the shocking truth about" are common examples. These headlines create curiosity and sometimes outrage before the reader even knows the facts. In Abby's case, some headlines focused more on controversy than on confirmed information. Once a headline spreads, many people react to it without reading the full story. TikTok also amplified the reaction. Short video clips of their wedding dance went viral. Users added their own commentary, sometimes supportive and sometimes critical. Because TikTok content moves so quickly, opinions spread fast. A single video can reach millions in hours. When information travels that quickly, nuance often gets lost. Complex topics are reduced to short clips and bold captions. Headlines and viral posts shape perception before facts do. When people first hear about a story through dramatic wording, it influences how they interpret everything that follows. Even if later reports provide balanced details, the first impression can be hard to change. In Abby and Brittany's case, the shift in media framing changed how many people viewed their marriage. And once a story takes on a life of its own online, it becomes harder for the people involved to control how they are seen. Inside a shared marriage. The first reality is simple. Privacy works differently for them than it does for most couples. Because Abby and Brittany share one body, Brittany is physically present in Abby's life every moment, including times that would normally be private between spouses. That does not mean Brittany is automatically part of the relationship. It means that any relationship involving Abby has to respect the fact that another full person is there too. Without making assumptions about personal details, we can still say this: physical closeness, boundaries, and comfort would have to be handled with clear agreement. In a shared body situation, no one can pretend the other person is not there. So a respectful relationship would require careful attention to what both sisters feel is acceptable and what both sisters want to avoid. This is not about curiosity. It is about basic human dignity and basic boundaries. Abby and Brittany have spent their whole lives communicating in ways most people don't have to learn. Because they cannot separate, they have to handle disagreements in real time. They have to solve problems quickly. They have to manage emotions while still moving through school, work, errands, and social situations. That kind of constant teamwork builds a strong habit of checking in with each other, listening, and finding a workable middle ground. In a marriage, those same skills would become even more important. Romantic relationships naturally bring new emotions: excitement, stress, jealousy, frustration, and comfort. When one sister is married, those emotions don't exist in a separate space. They are happening in a life that both sisters share. That means emotional honesty between the sisters would be a key part of keeping the home peaceful and respectful. Consent in their situation is not only about intimate topics, it also includes everyday decisions that affect their shared body and shared time. For example, where do they go? Who do they spend time with? What plans are made for weekends or holidays? How much time is spent as a couple versus as a family group? What activities feel comfortable for both sisters? Negotiation would have to happen often because one decision can affect everyone. If Abby wants to attend an event as a couple, Brittany still has to be there physically. If Brittany wants quiet time, Abby is also there. So consent becomes an ongoing process, checking in, agreeing, setting limits, and adjusting when something doesn't feel right. This is also where outside respect matters. A spouse would need to treat both sisters as full adults with full rights. Even if the marriage is legally between Abby and her husband, Brittany is not a background character. She is a person with her own comfort level, her own voice, and her own ability to say yes or no to situations that involve her body and her life. A shared body marriage also changes how a household may be organized. Home life usually includes routines, sleeping, bathing, dressing, relaxing, and managing schedules. Abby and Brittany already live with routines that involve cooperation. Adding a spouse means those routines may need new rules and clear expectations. For example, couples often build private time into their day. In this case, privacy would not mean Brittany disappears. It might mean agreed quiet time, agreed limits on conversation, or agreed ways to give emotional space even while sharing physical space. The goal would be respect, not pretending the situation is different than it is. Brittany being unmarried matters because it highlights something many people misunderstand. Abby's relationship status does not erase Brittany's individuality. Brittany can support Abby, care about Abby's happiness, and still have her own feelings about what she wants in life. She might prefer more privacy. She might want different social boundaries. She might want her own relationship someday, or she might not. Either way, her role is not defined by Abby's marriage. In a healthy setup, Brittany would not be treated like a permanent third wheel. She would be treated like a co-equal person in the shared body, with her own needs taken seriously. And next, the big question is how they manage public attention when the world keeps trying to turn these private structures into entertainment. The public resurfacing. After a period of relative quiet, public attention around Abby's marriage resurfaced in 2023 and 2024. Much of it was not driven by interviews or television appearances, but by social media activity. In today's world, even a simple profile update can restart a global conversation. In 2024, Josh Bowling updated his social media accounts, and people quickly noticed. One detail that drew attention was his profile picture. It featured a wedding photo that included Abby and Brittany standing beside him. The image showed them dressed formally, smiling, and posed together on their wedding day. For many viewers, that single image confirmed that the marriage was ongoing. For others, it reopened debates that had never fully settled online. Social media works differently from traditional news. There is no formal announcement required to spark headlines. Once users began sharing screenshots of the updated profile picture, discussions spread across platforms. Comment sections filled up with opinions. Some people offered congratulations, others questioned the relationship again. The same curiosity that appeared in 2021 came back, sometimes even stronger. Another part of the resurfacing involved family moments shared online. Posts included everyday scenes featuring Josh, Abby, Brittany, and Isabella, Josh's daughter from his previous marriage. In photos and short videos, they appeared together during holidays, casual outings, and simple family activities. These images showed laughter, relaxed body language, and normal daily interaction. Isabella was present in several posts, smiling and participating like any child spending time with family. For some viewers, these posts humanized the situation. They saw a blended family trying to live a regular life. For others, the images raised more questions. Instead of seeing routine family snapshots, they analyzed every detail: who stood where, who looked happiest, who posted first. Social media encourages this type of close reading. When public figures share content, even small gestures can be interpreted in many different ways. If you found this deep dive interesting, make sure to like, subscribe, and check out the next video for more untold stories you won't hear anywhere else.